Hello, 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 Mosaic Soul. Hey, Mosaic Soul, Rachel Alexander here. And today I really wanted to talk about physical pain, energetic and emotional blockages, and spiritual awakening. So I really wanted to talk about this because I know a lot of times, especially in the law of attraction world, this process isn't really mentioned. It really isn't mentioned because a lot of times I feel like the law of attraction world and people who have had spiritual awakenings or are on the spiritual path don't necessarily always gel together. But I feel like it's such an important awakening to understand how the universe works, which is what the law of attraction and all those divine laws and spiritual principles are about. But also, this other aspect of spiritual awakening, which is really awakening to who one really is, which is source manifested in human form, which is understanding that you are soul having human experience, this spirit being having this dense vibrational experience, and understanding that we are living in a vibrational world, a vibrational universe, an emotional universe. And every time I talk about vibrations, I'm talking about emotions and how one is feeling and stuff like that. And one of the things that I noticed that isn't really talked about, especially in the law of attraction boot camp, which is all about get happy, and stay happy, is this other side to it, especially if you're having a spiritual awakening, and even if you aren't, you can still experience these physical pain or physical symptoms or emotional or energetic blockages in the body. And I wanted to talk about this because one, I've experienced it and continue to evolve through it. So everything that I'm sharing, I'm not perfect at. I'm still evolving. I think that's a never ending journey, but there are different places that you get to where you can handle things at a more balanced way. So I'm just sharing my experiences and also just how to handle physical pain or how to handle energetic or emotional blockages when they become visceral or physical, kinetic within your body. And one of the things about having shifts, when you have shifts, like say you have like a mental shift and you realize who you truly are, or you recognize how the universe works, or you recognize a certain block or mental belief that you had that you're letting go. And on a mental level, you may have had this breakthrough. But a lot of times, what we don't recognize is that, and this doesn't happen for everyone. It happens to people at varying degrees, and for some people they don't even have to go through it. So you have to gauge where you are. I know for me, when I have a shift that is a huge shift, all of my physical body has to go through this kind of alignment process. And that for me has manifested in energetic blockages where energy will be moving through my body and it'll stay in certain areas. And I have to sit there and allow the energy to be there so it can continue to do what it needs to do to move. And so a lot of times when we're having and when we're waking up to who we really are, which is source manifested in human form, is you'll have energy that it's moving. So you're awakening. And so all these old conditioning, old beliefs, old thought patterns, old energetic psyche that can happen from generation to generation, from your lifetime, from, lifetimes ago and things of that nature. All of that energy is moving inside of you. So on a physical level, it can manifest as physical pain. And so one of the things, just from a health coaching perspective, is always get checked by a doctor, by a physician, because it could be something else that is manifesting for you. So you definitely want to, have all your ducks in a row. But on a spiritual level, this is quite normal. Um, for many different people, and it can happen in varying degrees. For me, I'll just share what happened for me and what is continuing to happen. When I first had my, I don't know, second or third spiritual awakening, like I said, when I talk about spiritual awakening, I more so talk about opening. So when I had this opening into more of a deepening into recognizing who I truly what am in 2014, what happened for me was a very head experience. So a lot of stuff for me in my head started to shift. So I felt like literally like I had this airy feeling in my head all the time. Like I was like kind of on a high, like my crown chakra was opening, all this stuff in my brain was rewiring. And then I also had a lot of emotional releases as well. So I had a lot of energy in my chest, energy in my belly that would come up, and I would go out in nature and I'd just be walking and I just sit there. And because of a lot of the training and books that I read and spiritual teachers that I was watching, I knew to allow it to be there so that the energy could move. Also, that's part of why I got into yoga as well, because yoga really helped me to ground a lot of energy because I was so heady in the very beginning of my spiritual awakening. That opening, it was hard for me to stay grounded, and I felt like I wasn't really here. So for me, my soul led me to yoga. Your soul, you got to follow your intuition, because you'll know what to do when you get quiet and get still and practice meditation, or practice really just being still and being present with whatever is going on within you. Your soul will lead you to certain paths for what you need to do in order to help ground more of who you truly are into this human experience. So 2 points I want to talk about, because a lot of stuff is coming to me right now, is repressed emotional emotions, and two, dang, I forgot. It'll come back to me. Anyways, but let's talk about repressed emotions. A lot of times when we're having a spiritual awakening and stuff, what is happening is I talked about, the ego and that other part, and I'll link a video up here above about that. But when we're having these emotional reoccurring negative emotions, or reoccurring unwanted thoughts, or reoccurring unwanted emotions or thoughts and stuff like that, a lot of times what's happening is that energy is trying to release itself. And so because um, a lot of times in the spiritual law of attraction community, we will say, oh, well, just forget about it, or you don't have to identify with it. And that's only a part of the puzzle. That's only a piece of the puzzle. A lot of times when it keeps coming back over and over and over, what needs to be done, or what I suggest you do, is to sit with it and allow it, accept it, and to, yes, not identify with it, not identify with the stories that are coming up. Because what's happening is that energy is trying to move. So your soul, I like to think of it in this way: your divinity, your soul, is basically learning or coming more fully into your physical human experience. And so when you're having a spiritual awakening and you're lifting the veil of forgetfulness, lifting the veil of forgetting who you truly are and remembering who you truly are, which is the soul having a human experience, is source manifested in physical human form, is that that energy is needing to ground down. So a lot of times you'll manifest physical things that need to move. And so the energy will be stuck in certain places, and you need to move the body, or you need to just be present and still. You have to learn to follow your intuition and follow the guidance. But a lot of times, simply just sitting there and allowing it to be as it is, accepting the emotion, accepting the energy. If you feel a burst to cry, if you feel a burst to laugh out loud, if you feel anger and you want to hit a pillow, let that energy release itself, because it's energy that has been stuck in your body, that needs to release. And one of the things that we don't recognize is that for many of us, not all of us, but for majority of us, we practiced a certain way of being. We practiced being in lack and scarcity, fear, and doubt and disbelief, and the veil of forgetfulness. We've been in such a veil of forgetfulness for a majority of our lives, so that when we have a spiritual awakening, or we have a spiritual opening or deepening into recognizing who we truly are, what happens is we've had so much practice in old conditioning. And so that old conditioning is still physically there in your physical body. It has to release itself. It has to let go. It has to be moved. That energy needs to move and clear out. It's what, in spiritual circles, they'll call the purification process, where you're being purified. And purification sounds all woo woo and fun, but actually, on a physical human level, it can be quite uncomfortable. And I encourage you to, one, seek medical advice if it's something that's really painful, or you're getting bloody noses or chronic headaches, or something that's going on. You definitely want to make sure that on a physical level you're okay. But if it's something also from a spiritual level, acceptance, allowing, being present, meditation, practicing forms of yoga if you feel called to do that, will help you ground that energy, will help you ground. When I say ground that energy, ground your divinity, ground your soul into your human experience, and release the old energy, the old karmic patterns, the old conditioning that was there, so that that energy of who you really are can be more, you can step into your divinity. So I'm saying all these kind of woo woo words. I'm trying to make it more grounded and not kind of flighty. So physical pain and emotional and energetic blockages are a part of the process. And it doesn't have to be something that takes you out for years and years on end. One of the easiest ways for you to release that energy is to allow it to be there and to bring more acceptance. And I can't tell you a timeline for when that is going to happen for you, when the energy is going to release itself finally. But I can tell you is that the more acceptance, loving compassion, and allowing that you bring to the process, the more quicker it will release itself. Because your body is an intelligent mechanism. A lot of times we think that the body is filthy and all this stuff from old, like, Christian teachings and stuff like that. But it's really quite an amazing, beautiful manifestation on this physical. This is what we came here to inhabit and to experience life on this physical 3D earth, right? So the body is very intelligent. And when you bring an acceptance and a state of allowing to the process, and a loving compassion for whatever it is, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, whether it's control, whether it's doubt, whether it's feelings of I'm not enough, or feelings of I'm not good enough, or whatever the belief is that is continuing to arise for you and manifesting as a physical symptom or an energetic block or an emotional block, your body is letting you know what needs to be brought to attention. And so anytime you're feeling something on a physical level, your attention needs to be brought to it, in a sense of not ignoring it, not shoving it under a rug, because that is what will cause it to continue to reoccur until you bring your attention and awareness to it. So when you bring your attention and awareness to it, and I can just show you a simple example, is to simply sit and just be. And here we go. So let's say you're feeling some physical symptoms in your mind, or in your heart chakra area, or in your solar plexus area. You just simply let it be there. And it can feel uncomfortable. And maybe you might feel, oh, maybe I should lean this way, or maybe I should move a little this way, or maybe you just feel the need to be there and allow it to be there. And when you do that, the energy will, it's intelligent. Your body is like moving, your soul and your body are working together. And so your body is going to help you move that energy in whatever ways it needs to be. Maybe you might feel compelled to dance or to move a certain way. Follow that inspiration. Maybe you feel the need to go take a walk. Clear your mind, clear your space. Do that. Maybe you feel the need to light a candle. Do that. There's nothing wrong that you can do to help allow that energy to move. If maybe you might feel called to eat cleaner foods. You notice that when you eat certain foods, it causes and triggers certain other things. A lot of times on a physical level, that can really help. Doing a detox, doing a cleanse, a fall cleanse or a spring cleanse, or whatever season it is, will help you move that energy. Because a lot of times on a physical level, because we are physical beings, we're inhabiting these physical bodies, eating cleaner foods will help that energy to move as well. So I'm just sharing from different aspects and perspectives to help you be able to face these things when they come up, because a lot of times when you are basically, you're shifting to who you truly are, and you're shifting to living a more joyous, harmonious, happy state of being, and understanding how the universe works, and grounding these principles, like understanding that you're a powerful being and that you create your reality. But when these physical things manifest, and these negative emotions or negative energies, or these physical, like, maybe anxiety, or maybe, a deep gut feeling is resonating, or pain in your neck or your chest or your legs or something, it's totally normal, and it's not, you're not doing something wrong, especially if it's reoccurring, right? What it's telling you is that, hey, you need to pay attention. I'm trying to release this energy and you just keep pushing me under the rug. And so a lot of times what happens is, when we ignore it and we try to block that energy, we create even more blockages on top of it, right? So bringing simple awareness, bringing your attention to your breath, bringing attention to that part of the body, to that wherever it's harboring that energy that needs to be released, and just recognizing it. And the energy will speak to you. It'll speak to you. It'll let you know you need to open your heart more. You'll get just simple nudges. You need to let go of control. Stop trying to control everything. Or maybe believe that everything is okay. Your well being is always assured. You're totally enough. Those little beliefs, and one of the things is that you can do is ask, especially when the stories start to replay in your mind. One, don't believe the stories. Let go of the stories. It's just energy trying to move. When that energy, the fear-based thinking, the lack-based thinking, the I'm not enough stories, those stories that start to come up, and the mental movies that play in your head, it's all a part of the process. And it feels like, God, when is this going to end? You got to trust the process. When it arises, and you bring that loving, compassionate awareness to it, attention and acceptance to it, it's going to pass so much more quickly than if you just say, well, I'm just going to stay happy. And yeah, if you're feeling crappy, allow yourself to feel crappy, you know? Allow that energy to be there, and you can stay in the awareness. You can stay as the witness, as other spiritual teachers would call it. You can stay as the witness. You can stay as from the perspective of your soul. And that's where that loving and compassion comes from, because your soul, your divinity, is completely okay with the process. It knows that that's what's going on, and it's in completely loving and awareness of this process. It's not trying to push it away. Your ego is what's trying to push it away. This shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't feel this way. I had a breakthrough. I know who I am. Why does this keep happening? It keeps happening because you need to bring your awareness to it, your attention to it, and let that energy do what it needs to do to release itself. Also take, advantage of some of those other tips that I talked about, eating cleaner, doing some yoga, taking a walk, moving your body, dancing, whatever you need to do, whatever you feel called to do, follow it, because that energy is releasing itself. And when you release that energy, oh my God, on the other side of that energetic block is pure freedom, pure harmony with your divinity, pure embodiment of who and what you truly are. And you'll start to feel this inner knowing, this inner unshakableness, this inner unmessable with, like, you just know who you truly are without a shadow of a doubt. But that energy has to move in order for that to ground into your experience. So when we've had so many years of practicing old conditioning, practicing lack, and practicing all this other stuff, and we come up into, and the veil of forgetfulness lifts itself, and we have a spiritual opening, or we have a spiritual deepening, and we come into knowing who we truly are. And then even another step further, we start to understand how the universe works, and how I'm always constantly creating my own reality, and all these other things and spiritual laws and principles that we come into awareness of. You can't ignore the body, because that's what's this vessel is housing your source. It's housing your divinity. So the body is divine as well. And you have to trust the process of releasing the energy. Trust the process and leaning into the energy. Trust the process of letting go of that energy, because it's going to move, and as you allow it to move, it's going to release, and you're going to come out on the other side so much happier that you allowed it to do what it needs to do. And yeah, that's basically it that I wanted to share with you, because I know for me, I didn't really finish my story, but it started out as a heady thing. And for me, physically, right now, where it's harboring a lot, where I'm releasing a lot of energy, is in my heart chakra. And this definitely happened a lot, especially in my solar plexus, and then in the beginning of my second or third spiritual opening. But now it's even grounding even more, and I know what to do because I've had years of practice. When the energy comes up, okay, it's here. There's no need for me to push it away. And I'll still have moments where my ego will be like, God, I don't want to be feeling this. Why am I feeling this? And then my awareness steps in and is like, who's doing that? Is it bad? Is it true? In any of these thoughts that are going on, is it true? Who would I have to, what would I have to believe in order for this to be true? And these things, because I've as a coach, as a spiritual teacher, for me, I've cultivated all these tools in my tool bag. So I'm like, okay, so my awareness steps in because I've cultivated such an awareness of it, and then I'm aware of what my ego is doing, that aspect of me that is trying to push it away, and I shouldn't be feeling this way. I'm a spiritual teacher. I should be better than this. I ain't perfect, and I ain't gonna pretend like I'm perfect. I'm still human too. I'm still shifting and changing and evolving. But I just wanted to share that this can definitely be it's a natural step of the process. Some people completely bypass it. Some people never go through this and they just have a spiritual shift. If you're one of those people, great. That's awesome. But we've all come here for our different experiences. And for those of us who are experiencing physical pain, energetic blocks, or emotional blocks, with having your spiritual awakening, or with coming into embodying more of the divine laws of the universe, understand that this is a natural part of the process. And the more that you come into harmony, and I talk about that in my video of how to stop caring about what other people think, but the more that you end the war with yourself, and the war is pushing away the parts of yourself that you don't want to deal with, the more that you end the war with yourself and come into complete harmony, alignment, come into complete acceptance and compassion and love and compassion, the more that energy will release so quickly. And the more that you will start to embody more of who you truly are, your soul, your divinity, you being source, God made manifest in this human form. And you will be so unshakable. You'll have such an inner knowing, such an inner peace. You can have more connection and communication with your intuition, with your higher self, with your spirit guides, whatever word resonates with you. You will have more connection with who you truly are on the other side. So come into acceptance, come into allowing this process. So I hope this has been helpful in some way, form, or fashion. If it has, definitely share this with a friend and subscribe to the channel for more information, and visit me at indigoray.com. If you're looking for more help and coaching in this area, I'm definitely available. And I hope that your process, you learn to embody more of that, because it can be frustrating if you don't know what's going on and why certain things will keep reoccurring or repeating themselves, especially when you've had these amazing breakthroughs and you're on a high and you're like, oh my God, I know who I am, and oh my God, I feel amazing. And then all of a sudden 4 days later you're like, why do I feel like crap? Why does that thought keep coming up? I thought I handled it. What am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. It's just energy releasing itself. It's like when you do a detox and you start getting sick symptoms, it's basically your body cleaning out all the crap. It's cleaning out all the crap that's in there. And on a physical level, when you are spiritually awakening and having these shifts and internal openings, this energy has to move itself. So that's a part of the process. So definitely, enjoy the process, allow it to be as it is, accept it and follow your intuition. Always flow with what resonates and let go of what doesn't, and follow your inner being. Your inner being will let you know what you need to do. Like, never in a million years did I think I would be doing yoga, you know? And I don't do yoga every day, but for the most part, I do it in some way, form, or fashion, even if it's a stretch here or stretch there, or a 30-minute session. I just follow my intuition. But never in a million years did I think I would be doing that. Like, I never wanted to be doing yoga. Like, I came from a gymnastics background, a dance and gymnastics background. So I love the energy of moving hard and moving my body. You know, I'm an Aries, and I'm also O blood type and stuff like that. And so I like physical movement. So yoga for me felt way too calm. Like, I like to move my body and dance and shake and shimmy, you know? So yoga was like not in the picture. But when I had a spiritual opening, and it was quite literally like a divine download, and the things that lined up for me in order for me to get certified as a yoga practitioner happened just with such ease and effortlessness, it was just like, well, that's my soul. It's my soul letting me know that this is the next step I need to do in my spiritual journey. So follow your intuition. It's there to guide you. It's there to guide you, to help you make grounding your divinity easier and more. It's a part of the process. It's just a part of the process. So have a beautiful and wonderful day, and definitely step into your divinity and align your mind, body, soul, spirit, business, and creativity. Peace, love, and light.